Good morning. It's looking like it's shaping up to be a fairly calm day. I've been saying the calm before the storm. Of course, everybody talking about this weekend, and I'll have a lot to talk about when we get there. First, we'll start off with today. We've got mostly clear skies as a cold front pushes off to our east and high pressure builds into the west. And that means things are drying out. We did have a lot of that rainfall through yesterday evening. It left behind some puddles, maybe still a little damp outside, but for the most part, our roadways are looking dry. Many of us are above freezing, so I'm not that worried about any kind of black ice. Still some small potential for that, so keep on the lookout as you're heading out the door. For the most part though, it's going to be a pretty calm day, pretty easy to get through. We'll be a little cold this morning, many of us in those lower 30s. And as we head home, we'll be in the upper 30s, so still chilly. We'll get some more sunshine as we're heading out there, though. We'll see really not a lot of cloud cover, maybe a little bit into this morning, but it clears out really quickly. Heading into our Friday, this is where things are going to kind of start to change a little bit. We're ramping up ahead of that weekend storm. So we've got strong northern breezes out there, and that's going to bring in some colder air. So we're in the teens and 20s by Friday morning. Into the afternoon, struggling to even make it out of the 20s for most of us. To the south, maybe a few people into those 30s. It's still going to be a very cold and blustery day, and it's just a taste of those colder temperatures we got ahead, really dropping as we head into Saturday and starting to see the dredges of that winter storm making its way in. We will, of course, have that winter storm watch in effect from Saturday at 1 a.m. to Monday at 7 p.m. It's very likely that as we get closer, we start to get winter storm warnings. We're still a little bit too far ahead, though, for those to kind of develop. So for now, we're under that watch. We're just watching what this is going to do because we are still several days out. So we're kind of in that preparing the forecast phase. We're starting to know a little bit more of those details. Still a couple of things that I don't really feel comfortable making a call on just yet. That'll become more apparent as we head into tonight and really into tomorrow. So here's the current trends, what I do know so far and what I feel confident enough to talk about. A major winter storm will move through Saturday into Sunday. High confidence that we see dangerous travel conditions and impacts to daily life. The storm will bring a chance for heavy snowfall, possibly some ice and lots of Arctic air for us. But models are disagreeing on the timing and location. They're likely going to converge by maybe later today, even into tomorrow, because that weekend low pressure system not quite fully formed yet. We can see it definitely spinning here over the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California and Mexico, but it hasn't quite come together just yet. Hurricane hunters have actually flown through to gather data, and once it does form and once we get some of that data from them kind of ingested into those models, things starting to agree a little bit more. So we're still waiting on that, but here's a little bit of an overview of maybe some things that we can expect. So we've got that first surge that's going to move through into Saturday. A little bit of dry time can be expected in between our second surge that we're going to get. Now, the timing of that second surge, a little bit unknown. That's one of those things that we can't quite make a call on just yet. And then we start to see that exiting as we head into Monday morning. So a very brief overview, and I'm keeping it brief on purpose because I don't want us to really focus in on those details and that nitty gritty, because we still have two things that are unknown, and mainly it's these two tracks of the low pressure system. If that low tracks to the south and it's a little bit slower, Kentucky will see mostly snowfall, and heavy snow totals are going to be possible all around. But if that low tracks a bit faster into the north Kentucky, going to see some of that heavy snowfall. But this shifts. We start to see southern Kentucky getting some of that snow, plus that mixed precipitation and maybe even some ice, which in turn would cut into snow totals. So why am I not showing those total maps? Well, there's still several things that are unknown. A couple different forecast busters. What could bust the forecast? Because of course people always complain about meteorologists overhyping these events and then nothing ever happens. Well, here's some things that could cause maybe our snow totals to be a little bit less. Of course, as I just mentioned, any ice or sleet's going to cut into those totals. Dry time between the two surges could greatly reduce snowfall amounts. And then if that low tracks far to the south, even farther than we're thinking, because of course Mother Nature always unpredictable, we could also see a drop in snowfall totals. So that's why I don't quite feel confident just yet to throw totals out there. And besides, I don't think totals are all that important. I think those impacts are more important, and what you do to stay prepared is better to talk about. So make sure you get that weather app and follow us on Facebook to stay on top of that forecast. For your house, make sure you're winterizing your home and yourself. reschedule those weekend plans. Be ready to hunker down as we head into this weekend. Of course, I've had the QR code up this whole time, but you can scan it right now to download that ABC 36 weather app. You'll continue to get those updates all throughout this weekend. And like I said, we'll be active, of course, on air and online to keep you informed as we head towards those weather impact days for our Saturday and Sunday. Again, today, make sure you're enjoying that calm before the storm and really soak it in before we get to this weekend.